Hello, this is Joy Durham, and we are going to talk about essential oils for pets this day. Welcome, 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 and I hope you're having a great day. And it is February 2019, and today's lesson is going to be essential oils and your pet. In this class, you will learn how to use essential oils for pets, the best essential oils for dogs and cats, and some of the top oils you can use for animals in general. I just wanted to start off with something kind of cute and show you that these are our pets. Well, two of them. We have a little lab, and then we have a little border collie Australian Shepherd mix. And we also have a tank full of African cichlids. So those are the pets that we have in our home, and that we have actually used essential oils with them as well. So here I wanted to I'll give you a quote. This is Cesar Millan, and he is known as the dog whisperer. And he actually uses doTERRA essential oils as well. And this is a quote that he said. It kind of gives you an idea of how you can introduce oils to your pets, because you can place a drop of lavender oil in your hands, with fractionated coconut oil or a carrier oil, and just let the dog pick up the scent itself. Don't try to force the oils on it. Then also a good way to introduce oils to your pets is to have them associated with a pleasant experience. So you can introduce the oils when it's time for them to feed, or when it's before walks, or do that as often as possible, and then they will get a positive connection with the oils the same way we get positive. We have memories tied to different oils as well. So that leads us into the 3 ways that we can use oils with pets, and starting with Aromatic. And that's probably going to be the most widely used way that you use oils with your pets, and it's because they are so sensitive to smell. So did you know that dogs have about 220 million sensory receptors, and cats have 45 to 80 million sensory receptors in their noses? So if you think about that, that's a lot, because humans only have 5 million. So what that means is that our pets are much more receptive, or much more sensitive to smell than we are. So what that means is that when we introduce a new scent to them or a new oil to them, we need to be take it one at a time. Don't try to introduce too many different oils at one time. Start with one and see how they respond. Start low. Start with 1 drop at a time and see how your pet responds. You can see that when you do use the oils aromatically, it helps to support a healthy respiratory function. It can help affect their mood, and it will cleanse the air the same way we use oils for these ways for us as well, but it can also be beneficial for your pet. And you can see how in the bottom right corner how the lady is introducing an oil to her dog. She's allowing the dog to smell it for himself, so he can kind of give you an indication of if it's a smell or a scent or an oil that they enjoy. You can always remember we have to use caution with oils around cats, because there are some oils that will affect them differently. Always use 1 oil at a time. Another way to introduce the oils to your pets aromatically is to put it on their collar, or to put a bandana, particularly around dogs. They'll probably be more receptive to wearing a bandana than a cat will. And when you put it on your hand, make sure, and you're introducing a new oil, make sure you always allow them a way out. So don't ever do it in a locked room or someplace where they might feel trapped. Always allow them to get familiar with the oil, and if they don't like it, make sure that they have a way to get out of the area as well. Another way you can use oils with your pets is going to be internally. So you can put it in a capsule and give it to them. Probably easier to put the capsule into something that they like a treat, or you could put it in wet food. I wouldn't recommend putting it in dry food, because they're going to be able to pick it up much easier in dry food, and it may also create a negative connotation with them with the dry food if you put it in dry food. And then you can also put it in water. Now, it's not recommended that we put it in water for cats, but how you have for dogs, because we've done that in our home, actually. We have added frankincense to our dog's water when she was having a skin irritation. She was having a reaction to pine. Another thing you can do is to spike their gums with it, rub it on their gums as well. The third way you can use oils is topically. Now, we know that some of the oils are going to be sensitive to their skin. It's the same way it is with humans. And so here are some guidelines that you can use. And remember, when you're introducing an oil, always use a carrier oil with it so that you can reduce any kind of reaction they can be having. If you find that your pet is having a reaction to any oil that you may use on them topically, just go ahead and add more of the carrier oil to it to dilute the effect of the oil that they are having. So for small animals, and these are rules of thumb, for small animals, which is any animal less than 20 pounds, you're going to use 1 drop of essential oil plus 1 teaspoon of carrier oil. For medium animals, which is 21 to 50 pounds, you're going to use about 1 to 2 drops of essential oil plus 1 teaspoon of carrier oil. And large animals, which is considered over 50 pounds, you're going to use 3 drops of essential oil and 1 teaspoon of carrier oil. Birds and tiny pets, their little bodies are going to be a little frailer. You're going to use 1 drop of essential oil and 8 ounces of water. Now, if you have a pregnant, older, sick, or an animal that's prone to seizures, I would start low with 1 drop of essential oil to 1 teaspoon of carrier oil. But it really should go without saying that if you have a pet in this condition, you should always consult your vet before or when you're thinking about using these oils with them. Now, a caveat we have for this is that if you're using the oils with cats, the ones that are recommended to use with cats, I would up the amount of carrier oil to a tablespoon of carrier oil instead of a teaspoon. And also, we don't have it on this slide, but another pet that you can use oils with and that we have used oils with is with our fish. So in a fish tank, if you have a 10-gallon tank, you can use 1 to 2 drops of a essential oil in there. And really, I would start slow, just like with any other pet, and start slow when you're adding it into a tank. Sometimes, they can react as well, or it could affect the water adversely, but you want to see. And I would recommend just starting with a toothpick swirl. So a toothpick swirl, basically you take a toothpick and you stick it into the essential oil that you're adding to the tank. You swish it around in the water and you see how the fish in the tank react for a day. And then you can increase it up to the 1 or 2 drops, in subsequent days. And so that's basically 1 to 2 drops per 10 gallons of water in a tank. Some of the oils that you can use in your fish tank are lemon, frankincense, grapefruit, and lavender. In our home, we have personally used lemon oil with our tank before we were having a little bit of an algae problem, but more so, we would get a fish or two that would get thick, and so we would put that in there to help them cope with that, and so it wouldn't spread to other fish. And remember, whenever we're using oils, we want to use it with a glass aquarium, not with the plastic or the fiberglass. I would use it with a glass aquarium, and remember to start slow. So what oil should we avoid? So for dogs, you want to avoid wintergreen, and wintergreen is going to be in blends such as deep blue, so don't use deep blue necessarily with your dog. And you want to avoid any of the products that have xylitol in them. So xylitol is going to be in products such as On Guard toothpaste, On Guard beadlets, peppermint beadlets, lemon sassy gum, and trim shake. So why is xylitol in these products? Well, xylitol is basically a sugar alcohol, but because it mimics the chemical construction of sugar inside, and dogs cannot determine the difference between it being just a sugar alcohol and sugar. So a dog's pancreas think it is a sugar, and it can cause them to produce insulin, and it can lead to things such as seizures, low blood sugar, and liver failure. So that's why these products are not recommended for dogs, and it really isn't a good idea to use them on them because of those reactions. And since, each pet is going to be different, the same way each, human's different, you don't know the severity of the reaction that could happen in your dog. So why is xylitol even in any of these products, we wonder? Well, for humans, we don't have the reaction to it that that dogs have to it. Excuse me. But the reason that xylitol is even in the products is because it helps prevent bacteria from sticking. So that's why it's in those. And that makes sense. It's in the toothpaste, in the gum, and the beadlets and such. Other oils that you can use with caution around dogs include Melaleuca, the Roman chamomile, Breathe, Purify, HD Clear, and Correct-X. So with these oils, it's more of a cautionary type situation. So that's where you definitely want to introduce it at very low levels, maybe a drop or half a drop, and see how your dog reacts to it before using more. You would definitely want to heavily dilute these oils as well. And remember, when you're using a hot oil, it's just as if you were putting it on our skin. And when you put it on your pet's fur or on their skin, make sure that you dilute the hot oils as well. And those include cinnamon, cassia, clove, oregano, and thyme. And I am sure that your dog will let you know if you need to dilute those further. So oils to avoid with cats. I know there's been a lot of talk in probably the past year or so, and a lot of speculation and warnings that have gone around about which oils you can and cannot use with cats. And so basically a rule of thumb is to look at staying away from citrus oils when you are dealing with cats. And that's because citrus oils contain a polyphenolic compounds that may affect how your cat's liver detoxifies. So what basically can happen is that it can cause a buildup of toxins in your cat's system, and we don't want that, because that can be very detrimental. So you avoid oils such as citrus, grapefruit, lemon, and orange. And other oils to avoid with cats include birch, which birch we already know is a pretty strong oil for us as a pain reliever. Cinnamon, clove, oregano, tea tree, which is Melaleuca, thyme, and wintergreen again. Safe oils for dogs and cats, however, include cedarwood, myrrh, clary sage, peppermint, carrot seed, ginger, helichrysum, and basil. Now, all of these oils are ones that we can use with pretty good confidence with our pets. So one of the ones I wanted to point out, clary sage, because that's one that helps with calm and nervousness and excitability. And so think about the times of year when your pets are going to be excitable or nervous, like when there's lots of loud noises and things going around, like the 4th of July or New Year's Eve. I know one of our dogs gets really upset with the loud noises, and she tends to hide. So that is one, oil that we might consider using this go around with her to help her feel more at ease. So what are top oils for animals? In general, frankincense. Frankincense is on top of the list, and anyone who's been in any of my classes knows how much I love frankincense. And so just like with humans, frankincense is very good for cellular health. It's anti-inflammation and helps with wounds and joints. So that's one that is pretty safe to use for any of your animals. Lavender is also a good one. It helps with calming and skin irritation and as a bug repellent. DigestZen, Balance, On Guard, TerraShield, lemon, although it's not good necessarily to use with cats directly. AromaTouch, it's not recommended at all for cats, but you can for other animals. And then there are several oils that you can use for kidney function. And we're going to look at these all a little more closely. And you see that's my dog again with the kiddos when they were all younger. The top oils for your animals, let's start with frankincense. And let's remember, and I'll keep repeating this, is watch how your pet reacts to each of these. Even though we're saying, this is a oil that's okay for your pet just may not like it. So you need to watch how they react. Start with small amounts, and they'll let you know which ones are their favorites. Just like we have favorites, they will too. So the king of all oils, which is frankincense, as we said before, is a good one for pets. And you can see some of the things it helps with: cellular health, inflammatory response, skin wounds, relaxation, immune support, and joint support. And this is an oil that I have gone to personally to help with our pets. And it has a light smell to me. It's rather earthy, and so I haven't seen them really react to it adversely at all. They really don't seem to notice it much at all. Another top oil for animals is lavender, and that's one we can use with the calming, skin irritation, sleep. For their seasonal threats, just like we get them, they get them as well. It can be used as a bug repellent for cuts and scrapes. So you can think about, using lavender or clary sage in conjunction or separately, but always start with one or the other and see how they react before. I would never introduce them together. DigestZen is another one you can, use for your pet. You may have a pet that suffers from motion sickness when they're traveling. I know I do, so I have to travel with DigestZen. But you probably could have a pet that also would need help when traveling, so you can use it for them as well. It helps with healthy digestion, stomach discomfort, bloating, gas, and indigestion and worming. So you also have balance, and we can use that for our pets. And it will help with whole body sense of relaxation, promotes restful sleep. And it's another one that you can turn to try to use for car rides to create a calming environment, especially if you're just diffusing it in the car as you're traveling. Now, on that bottom right-hand corner, what you're seeing there are red blood cells that have been affected by balance oil in the second one. So in the first shot that you see, it's showing a bunch of red blood cells that are all clumped together, not necessarily in a healthy state. And then they applied balance oil to the foot of a human, and you can see the effect that it had on the red blood cells in the person that it was applied to. Another top oil for animals is going to be On Guard. And so it's going to support their immune system just like ours, helps with seasonal threats, respiratory function, thrush, cleaning their stalls. If you have, you need to clean up after your animals, if you may have them in stalls or a chicken coop, and this is something that can help you cut down on bacteria. And you can also help with oral health. I know about 80% of dogs will develop some type of gum disease by year 3, and it can also help with the stinky breath. Top oils for animals also includes TerraShield. TerraShield is a daily repellent spray that can be used on most animals. You can also use it to help as a carpet deodorizer. You can mix it with baking soda and sprinkle it on the carpet, let it sit for about an hour, and then vacuum it up. Or if you're, a new animal may have an accident, and you can clean up, and it can help clean up with that as well. And you can also make your homemade flea and tick collar. We talked about that earlier, where you can put the oil on a bandana and wrap it around them, or you can put it on the collar that they already have, or you could just add a little bit between their shoulders. Another top oil for animals is lemon. Now remember, we said you want to be cautious when using the citrus oils around cats. So that's why you have that asterisk there if you want to diffuse with caution around cats. But it is really good at helping cleanse their bodies as well as it does with ours. And then, those times when they get into things, you may need to remove grease from their skin and their hair. This will be helpful in that. It can help with respiratory function, kidney function, colds, and give them a positive mood, just like it does in us. AromaTouch is another one that you can use for animals, and it will help with their muscles and ligaments, respiratory function, calming, and circulation. But again, this is one that is not recommended for cats. And for kidney support. And basically, for kidney support in both cats and dogs, you can use both juniper berry and copaiba. And with dogs, you can also try using zendocrine, which is our detoxification blend. So essential oils for birds. Now, birds, their little bodies aren't going to be able to take a whole lot of oils at one time. They are very sensitive to oils, and some may be toxic to them, especially if you use it in quantities that are too large. So some of the oils to avoid altogether with them are going to be melaleuca, any of your fur oils, cedarwood, patchouli, and the TerraShield. I know we just mentioned, using TerraShield with the cats and dogs, but it's not recommended for birds. However, you can use elevation, citrus bliss, lavender, frankincense, lemon, and wild orange if you heavily dilute it in water. And that has shown to be very beneficial to birds. If you want to, have immune support for your little birdie, what you can do is create a spritz that you could use around the cage. And what you'll do is take 10 drops each of lavender, lemon, and frankincense with distilled water and put it in a 4-ounce mixing bottle and spray around the cage daily. Now, you're not going to necessarily spray the bird down, but you're going to spray around the cage daily, and that will help them and keep it a nice, clean environment for them. Other little animals that you might want to use oils with include our little pocket pets like our rabbits, our guinea pigs, our hamsters. You can use oils with them, but the best way to use it with these little ones is going to be with your diffuser. That's probably the best way to use, because you're going to have to heavily dilute the oils if you put it on their bodies. So the best way is probably just to use the diffuser. That'll be the most beneficial for them. Supplements. There are some supplements you can try using with your pets as well. The Lifelong Vitality Supplement, or LOV as most people know it. We can use those for pets that are 80 pounds and above. You can also use the A to Z chewable vitamins, which are our kid vitamins, but not with cats. It's not recommended to use the A to Z chewable vitamins with cats. And the other supplements you can try to use with your pets are going to be the TerraShield, the PB Assist, the Omega fish oils, and the Deep Blue Polyphenol Complex. The Deep Blue Polyphenol Complex are the pill form of Deep Blue. It does not made up of the same things as the rub. Therefore, you can try to use this with some of your pets. And then there's also DDR Prime Cellular Complex. Now, all of these, as with the oils, I would try a little bit at first and see how the pet reacts. And then you can determine from there if you think it's something that's going to be beneficial for them. And again, you might want to try wrapping it in a treat or peanut butter or something that you know that they like, and so that you can get the supplements into their body. Now, resources. Now, there are several resources that you can turn to when in doubt, because there was a lot of information that was kind of just flashed up on the screen today. And the purpose of this class was just really to get you exposure, to realize that there are some do's and don'ts when using oils with your pets. But here are some resources you can turn to when you are in need of knowing what to use with your pet. The first one up there is a Facebook group by Dr. Janet O'Rourke, and she is actually a vet that uses doTERRA's essential oils within her practice, and she is in Austin, Texas. Her website or her Facebook page is a wealth of knowledge, and she also teaches Facebook classes online where you can interact with her. So I would recommend looking her up and following her. Another Facebook page is Ryan's Wellness Essentials. That's one you can follow as well. There are a couple of websites on here, dogoiler.com, essentialoilvet.com. And then there are several books listed here. The first two books are specific for using it with your pets, your dogs, your cats, and your pets. And the second two books, Modern Essentials and the Essential Life book, are our general reference books, but they also have a pet section in there. So when you have questions, these are some resources you can turn to. And in the meantime, if you do have any questions, because this is the end of this presentation or class today, I would recommend that you contact the person who enrolled you or the person who supports you in your essential oil journey. And that concludes this class. And I hope you have an awesome day and go love on those pets.